Hey!
Here we are, fresh off of watching Upgrade, the movie.
Yes, not Venom.
They finally made a movie version of Upgrading.
Great.
Upgrade the movie.
Yeah.
The movie.
You know, all those times you upgrade things.
Yeah, this was a good visual representation of that.
It was an upgrade of movies. That's what it was. Actually, if it was anything, we're going to say it right now without even seeing Venom, that this movie's probably an upgrade on Venom.
I would
Venom
assume
hasn't
so.
even come out yet.
Yeah,
I assume as much.
I assume as much.
It's about a person who was changed somehow and who has a voice inside their head that talks to them and wants to take control.
And has powers beyond his control.
Yeah,
they get
so Venom.
Yeah. But in this case, it's computers in his head. He gets a little computer chip that looks like a bug.
A roach.
Yeah.
Called
STEM.
STEM.
Because
Wow,
stem
how'd you remember
cell
that?
research.
Yeah, well, I thought that was the silliest name for the tech because...
No, I think Venom would be better.
No, that's the what is it called? A protozoogody?
Yeah.
What do they call it?
Sinaconi Dody Chody. That's what it's
What do
called.
they call it in Venom?
Symbiote.
Oh,
the
symbiote.
The symbiote.
Anyway, we're not
Symbiote.
talking about Venom.
Yeah.
We're talking about a movie that's probably better than Venom. Upgrade. Okay, so Upgrade, directed by Lee Wannell, directed and written. I don't know if I'm probably saying his name totally wrong, but he wrote the Sidious movies.
Insidious.
It's a Darth,
The Darth Sidious movies.
Yeah, Sidious, a Star Wars
Wow.
story.
Oh, wow.
I would see that.
Yeah, I totally
want
Let's
to
watch,
see that.
Let's talk about that instead.
Yeah, we should spend some time.
He wrote Insidious. I haven't seen these movies.
He also wrote the first Saw,
Okay.
Right.
which was hilarious. I
Well,
loved
good.
that movie. It was really fun. Super funny movie.
Right. Anyway,
Never saw it.
back to Upgrade. And starring Logan Marshall Green, who does fine. This movie, I walked out, my first statement was, that was a pretty good, terrible movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Blumhouse.
Yep. Very, very high budget for Blumhouse.
Yeah.
It's
Pretty good,
funny
pretty
because
cool.
you can see where they definitely weren't they made these super futuristic cars that they only used twice in the film.
Yeah. Yeah. Weird stuff with future tech.
Yeah.
Like the automated driving is sort of treated like is something that is the norm, and yet it isn't the norm.
And yet not, yeah, because everyone
Yeah.
else has like
The main
regular
character,
cars.
Gray, you know, he's defined by the fact that he pushes back against technology in a world where no one drives anymore, no one uses their hands anymore, but he's surrounded by people who apparently are still driving.
Yeah, like
Because
You mean you
modern
gotta
vehicles.
use your hands?
yeah. The secret entrance to the Boy Genius's subterranean laboratory was him walking in between two rocks in the desert and then cutting away to him now being in the subterranean. They just found two rocks that had a hill sloping behind it, so they could just film from behind him walking down a
That's-
slope and disappearing.
That's such a student film.
That is a
thing to
total
do.
student film. That's something a film student figures out and feels very smart for.
Right, right. Not a
Then
production
they foley
house.
in they foley in some footstep sounds that are like way too loud.
Yeah.
Of like hitting marble.
Right, right.
I'm going downstairs.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really have much I didn't have any expectations really going in other than I don't know, I kind of expected like kind of a fun time and just kind of like over the top silly stuff. And
I
a little
think
bit
we
of
got
blood.
that.
Yeah, and it totally delivered,
So
you know.
what like I felt like they came up with a concept for a fun way to do like
I feel like we're all getting phone calls.
Yeah, we are, yeah.
brutal action in a funny way, right? Where this guy's body's been hacked, you know, is being taken over by this technology,
Yeah.
who is helping him beat bad guys, and it's like grotesquely violent and intense, and he's just a bystander who's kind of, you know, it's funny. But I felt like that's as far as they got. And then they just like very quickly tried to come up with a premise, a beginning and an end that was just ridiculous and stupid.
Yeah, no, the middle was definitely the meat of the movie.
It was all about the middle.
Yeah.
The setup was so bad.
The setup was terrible. It was really
And
bad.
conclusion was pretty bad too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I did like the
Yes
twist
and
they had.
no, actually.
Right. I forgot about
The
how it
good
ended.
part of the conclusion.
Yeah.
Spoiler warning.
So yeah,
The
just going to
very
the ending
ending,
real quick
yeah.
because real quick.
I like this.
Yeah.
It
The ending was
ended.
really cool.
It ended with the bad guy winning
Yeah.
in a way that was
yeah.
pretty believable.
I thought that was cool. Like I could see so I could see Stem, who takes over Greg at the end fully, then going on to like conquer the whole world.
Right. Right.
Like I could totally believe that.
That's great. I hope they don't make a sequel.
They will.
I really.
This movie made money and it's popular, so it's gonna have a sequel.
And Blumhouse does that with all of their movies that are
They just run into the ground.
yeah.
Sure.
Insidious
well,
has
they're
like 5
working on
movies.
a
That's true.
Happy Death Day 2 already,
Wow.
which was like how.
I don't think
all you
anybody
could
saw
do
that
is
either.
do the same idea again, right?
I guess they did that with The Purge, right?
Yeah, with The Purge, with what's the one that made them famous was Paranormal Activity.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
Man.
they'll definitely have sequels.
Damn it.
Now, no. So, the ending of this, Stem locks away the real Gray in some cavern of his mind where he can just live a blissful existence unaware of what's going on in his real life.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe he stays in that hospital bed making out with his girlfriend for eternity. I
man.
just never. I don't know. But he's locked away there while Stem is in control of his body. In Infinity War, we have all of the heroes disappeared.
It's a jump.
No, this has meaning. Vanished by Thanos. If you're familiar with the comic books, you know that they've been put in some other realm, and you can all sort of assume that anyway. You know they're coming back, right? Thanos wins. The good guys are spirited away somewhere else.
Spirited away.
And in this film, same thing. However, this was not unsatisfactory, right? With Infinity War, it was kind of frustrating, right? Especially to you. So I want to ask you, what's the difference?
The difference is consequences, I suppose. So I don't really care about. This is the first movie with no plans for a sequel that we know of, which we can assume that they will do another one. And if they do another one and like Greg comes back, then depending on how they do it, I think that's okay. Same thing with Avengers, where depending on how they do it, I think that's okay. But the big issue is that they're in Infinity War, they're writing it off as if it's supposed to be for reals happening, when you just know they're not killing those very heavily established main characters that have contracts for other movies already lined up.
Right.
So it's very, very, very different, I'd say.
Yeah.
So expectations is probably what it is.
Yeah.
Based on.
Well, honestly, sequels to movies like this almost don't matter.
Mm.
Like, often they're just sort of throwaway movies. They're movies that a decade ago would have gone straight to DVD, right? They're movies that studios will swap out the lead main actor, right? So who cares what they do in a sequel? We probably won't even see it.
I mean, I could see this being part of a bigger arc. If they did it this way, because I know Blumhouse isn't really known for its awesome, huge storytelling, but like if this movie was where it ended as the climax of the entire arc, where our main character tries to find his way back, but doesn't realize that he's out of his realm until he figures it out or something like that, and then brings back and then takes down Stem, then that'd be a whole arc.
Yeah,
That'd be really cool.
that would be cool. I
don't
wouldn't hold my breath.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
So Glass coming out in January is supposed to be Blumhouse's highest budgeted film yet. This one seemed pretty dang high for them. I don't think they spent any money on a screenwriter, though.
No.
Or actors.
Or actors, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want this episode to go by with us giving these things a pass.
No.
Because it had some truly awful
This is what you were talking
acting.
about when you said, when we started off the episode with saying this was a really good, bad movie.
Yeah.
Like,
it was bad.
Yeah, there's so much bad. There's there's so much bad in this movie. The main thing that's bad is, like you said, the dialogue is terrible.
Yeah.
It's gross. Like the very beginning, there's the wife is talking in movie lines. Like,
yeah.
There's no real you don't understand what the guy does off the premise.
No.
That he has basically no connection with his friend. That's supposed to be like this completely billionaire that's like this secret guy. It makes no sense how all these things are connected.
Yeah, they don't try at all to connect these characters. Like,
I touched the camera.
Ooh,
Sorry.
man, that's pretty stuff.
That's screwed up. It's out of focus and
Jeez. Gosh. Yeah, Greg has this friend billionaire
That she doesn't know about.
that his wife doesn't know about, but they never really established to the audience how he knows this billionaire. But then they kind of treat it like Greg barely knows this guy, but apparently he knows
the whole
this
setup
guy.
is, hey, I want to go to my friend's house. You got to see his house. It's amazing.
like it's amazing.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the line. He
That's
goes,
the line.
"Yeah, you have to see my friend's house. It's such a cool house."
And then they go in and she goes, it's boy genius billionaire creator of the world's greatest technology.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
Had I
she
known.
And he's like, surprise. and he's all like, hey, Gray.
Right.
How do you know him?
Yeah, no, there's nothing else from there. Not to mention that, like, he's distractingly young
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
weird. And
Like-
that's cool if you have an explanation.
Or if you have good
Like,
acting, which
sure,
they had neither.
if you have, that's just a requirement, not an or. Like, you're just supposed to have that. But if they had, that montage sequence during the opening credits that sort of shows, like, boy genius starts a software company at age 8, or something to set the premise for why we're looking at this kid
Yeah.
who seems just completely emotionally stilted. And in the world of Steve Jobs and Elon Musk, we're supposed to believe that this guy. I don't think so.
I think an older character actually would have played a lot better.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
He also had a cloud.
That was my
hilarious.
favorite part.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part. He's just like molding a cloud.
Like this hologram.
Yeah.
That has like lightning and everything. In
Yeah,
it.
and they say, "Hey, what's that?" He goes, "My cloud." And then there was no explanation.
Yeah, that's done.
That was my favorite part, actually. But every line he delivered was pretty bad. He was bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
No, he was bad.
Yep.
He looked like he was trying pretty hard.
He
too.
should play characters in boy bands. Like, he'd be good. A surfer, romantic interest in a surfer or skater movie would fit.
Well, they should have I think it's cool to have this young character, like you're saying, who is like that insanely successful, but they have to show how it happened.
But without some kind of description, it's just distracting.
It's just weird.
It is
Yeah.
kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else was terrible about this movie?
The character, so Greg and his attitude of like, oh, computers are so bad.
That was weird. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like,
they had to really oversell that.
yeah. But so if this movie, let's say this movie takes place in 2050 or something like that.
Right.
Then that would mean Greg was born in like 2035.
Right.
So he should be completely used to computers and stuff.
Yeah,
And he's
he's
builds-
acting like the old guy who grew up changing the oil on a car.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
getting his hands dirty.
Like his garage is the modern like guy who works on old cars.
Yeah. In other words, he grew up during the time that the screenwriter grew up in. who was born in 1977.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
So there you
And
go.
this
Yeah.
guy totally acted like a dude born in 1977, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is like, I mean, unless it's like some sort of alternate present, but they were clearly going for future tech here.
Yeah.
Like a ton
But
of
bam, did they just ram that over our head over and over again? That Gray is not comfortable with technology and believes we should use our hands. Like
The lines that were
like
said.
like I feel like when
pizza part.
when they constructed this character, they got out a whiteboard and they were like, Gray. What about Gray? Doesn't like tech, likes using his hands, has a 1965 Chevy Nova, likes to change the oil on and work on. Oh, I got it. In the future, they print pizzas. He makes pizzas, you know.
Oh, print a pizza. And then he's like super offended. He's
Yeah.
like, we'll make a pizza. It's like, geez, dude, what's your problem?
How about we make a pizza?
You know,
Just food.
You know what was funny? His character, like, he comes out feeling all like bad boy kind of thing, right? Like he's dressed the part, he works the part and everything, and he's messing with his wife as if he's this some kind of bad boy. But then at the same time, he's a stay-at-home
Not even
husband.
Yeah, he's a stay-at-home
He's not-
husband.
he's not a
even
dad.
Well, no. I think the actual story is that he's a work from home,
Right?
like an artisan craftsman.
Because she makes fun of
But they
his
just did a
thing.
terrible job of telling us.
Yeah, that was really bad.
It took 2/3 of the movie before you understood. He restores old cars and sells them to rich people who have like a niche interest.
Oh.
That's what he does. But because they don't tell you,
They don't even show it. I mean,
they
they-
make you feel like he's a loser.
Yeah.
Who can't get a job, and so he stays at home tinkering on his cars while his successful wife brings home the money.
So
which
he's
is not the story they wanted to tell.
So it's incompatible there, and then when he gets into the STEM part, where he gets into what was it, a car crash with his wife? Mm-hmm. His wife dies, and then he gets this secret thing from the kid where the computer upgrades everything in him. He then becomes like a super comical character. Like the whole movie after that, he's not the guy in the beginning. He's not revenge driven. I mean, he is for plot, but he himself isn't. And he's like horrified that he's attacking these guys, and which is a really cool character thing. But he doesn't match that. That's not what we started out with. It's not even what we end with.
Yeah. His character never, like, the idea that he is this kind of man out of time type character is never related to anything he's doing. It's just so he can have lines about it.
Yeah.
And
like
then
it would have made sense if it was setting up that at some point his ability to use his hands and you know MacGyver things, so
Yeah.
to
Right.
speak, could
Right.
like save the day and be the thing that undoes.
Right,
But
like
it-
low tech, beats high tech.
Yeah, but it never is the case.
and it never does.
yeah, there's no
He
purpose.
actually proves that he's obsolete.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
He also didn't really hesitate too much with getting a
With getting STEM?
computer. Yeah.
Yeah, you would think his
didn't-
character would be like, "Don't
Like-
put that in me."
Yeah, like
You know?
absolutely not.
Yeah, like he would embrace being a vegetable as opposed to being a computer.
But he thought about it for 2 seconds. He's like, all right. And then he's like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Well,
And wasn't it interesting that the technology that he rebels against so much is what prevented him from being able to commit suicide? Like,
Yeah.
if he was manually giving himself his medicine, he would have killed
that's
himself
right.
that
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
But he couldn't tell his computer to give him enough to kill him.
So he's just an idiot.
What an idiot.
He should have
I'm
gotten
glad Sting
actual
won.
I'm glad
meds.
Go STEM.
You know what I really liked about STEM in here? So he's a computer, like an operating system or something, and it's like super advanced or something. But he has
Sort of.
Well, like when the tech billionaire kid shows him the chip and says this will change society, right? Because it does things that other computers can't or whatever.
Yes.
Whatever, it's a faux tech thing, but I liked that they introduced it as this society changing thing that has a personality, right? Like he actually has, like, this intelligence has a drive, wants to get somewhere. And I want to compare it to Tony Stark's, who eventually became Vision, Jarvis.
Yeah.
Jarvis has a personality, but he's supposed to be just a super advanced computer system, and that's it. And they just gave him her personality because, well, I guess he's super tech, and super tech creates personalities, I suppose. But like, I feel like this one was way better than that one. I feel like STEM was way better than Jarvis in this instance.
Yeah, I like the character of STEM, actually.
I like that he was an actual character.
I felt like
is
the
what I mean.
robot was more human than its inventor.
In what?
In this, STEM was more
human
of an
than
engaging character than the boy genius who invented it.
Yeah.
I feel like that was intentional.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had something else interesting to say. What was it? Or are we out already? Ooh.
There's a lot of fun stuff that happens in the movie.
Oh yeah, this movie has a few moments of really good gore where this guy's face gets like sliced open, like he gets jokered basically.
Yep.
And then
Jokered.
these guys have these.
They have arm guns.
Forgot
about
that. Yeah,
That is the silliest thing.
It's awesome.
guns built into their arms.
I
so
love
there's like
that.
a tube in
I
their
just
arm.
don't see the.
No, it's so great. I love
It's
it.
so silly.
Why is that valuable though?
That's what's awesome
Completely
about
impractical.
it. It's not completely impractical. Yeah.
It's like bang,
Right.
bang, bang.
No, it's more like load one bullet and then shoot.
And then shoot a
million
bunch,
times.
yeah.
Boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom.
And then you're like burning your skin every time.
Yeah.
And it's like super hot, and it's like, ow.
Like they even had like one of the doctors going in. He's like, they've surgically built a gun into the arm. Like you could see it, and there's no casing, there's no futuristic thing at all. It's just a
rod.
metal tube inside their arm.
They do a really clever thing with it where Stem or Greg
Oh right.
like bends a guy's arm backwards and then snaps it in half and then blows the guy's head off with it.
That was
Awesome. That was the
fun.
best part of the whole movie.
The fight scenes
Fight scenes were awesome.
were all phenomenal.
Yeah.
I
Very
felt like
well done.
I felt like that
That's
was
what made the movie.
That's what made the
It's like
movie,
we
yeah.
went for that.
Yeah. Somebody was like, how do we make this into a story?
Yeah, it was like I have this idea for 3 great fight scenes.
Right.
And then they really phoned it in on the story to glue it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It almost works in the sense where you just want to see the fight scenes. And so
Yeah.
that's why you go to the movie. I can see that.
Yeah. I think it could have used 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 more like gory deaths. There's like the 2 gory deaths of the guy's face and his head blown
You just
off,
needed more of those fight scenes, actually.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it did need
because
more.
if that's the crux of your whole movie, then
you got to go all in. You got
Yeah.
to make that a good chunk of your movie rather than spending 15 to 20 minutes at a time on story that's
Right.
terrible.
It was the screenplay.
Yeah.
I think they got 20 pages in. They're like, like you can't condense it anymore, or they couldn't, at least. They couldn't figure out how to.
it was just so lazy.
It was very,
It's like
yeah.
it's like, hey, here's this guy. He's a boy genius. Why are we here? It doesn't matter.
Right. Right.
Oh, he has this piece of amazing tech. What does it do? Everything. That's his explanation. I have this. It can do anything.
Yeah, he
right?
he even says literally. He goes literally anything. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. So then from then point
the
on.
ending, it's like, what happened? And he says, oh, it's not me. I haven't been in control of my company in years. It's STEM.
Right.
STEM made me do it. Which, as far as we knew, STEM lived in a microchip before it was
As far as
inside
we
of this
knew,
guy.
right.
He said, nope, STEM did it to me. He's been controlling me. I'm his puppet.
And like STEM needed a human.
And we just go, oh, okay.
Right. And his whole thing was that STEM needed a human to do stuff. But if he's in control of the company, well,
It actually seems like it'd be a smarter move for STEM to keep being in like the cyberspace
Right.
world and being computer
Just
rather
being a
than
computer.
being held back by a physical body.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're not supposed to think about
Okay,
it. Turn your brain off.
Just turn your brain off.
Popcorn movie, guys.
Popcorn movie.
Reading too much into it. Sorry, but we want movies to be good.
So in order to enjoy some movies, you have to
I'm so sick of that.
yeah
Turn your brain off.
Like turn your
so
brain off.
many people.
It's so dumb.
Well, I
Just
mean,
don't think about it.
part of me envies the general audience film goer who can do that.
Sure.
Right? My brother Jake.
Sure.
Shout out. Sup, Jake. he could just go in and enjoy a movie.
Yeah.
You know? And then he doesn't talk to me about it because I'll ruin it for him. You know? And am I really asking for too much?
Well, you should be able to. A movie should, shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to be dismissing things from a movie. If you're dismissing things from a movie for it to be good, then you're doing it wrong.
See, but now we're stepping into a bit of subjective territory because like plot holes.
Not subjective.
No subjectivity.
I was holding it back. I was like, keep it under control.
We did that whole episode about plot holes and do they matter? Because we all
Yeah.
liked A Quiet Place
Yeah.
despite its absurd
plot holes.
But yeah, I think it takes an engaging connection, and I think when you have a movie that just relies on its awesome fight scenes and everything, you need to be either connected to the fight scenes or all of it. And because if you're neither, then the movie doesn't work for you. That's why I love The Matrix and love Sherlock Holmes, despite how much wrong is both.
Yeah.
With both of them, because I can forgive them.
Right. But at the same time,
No.
let's carry this metaphor over into other parts of our existence.
Sure.
If you go to a restaurant famous for its cheeseburger,
Sure.
okay, they have like the best cheeseburger, but they serve it to you on a filthy plate with like stale, cold French fries and a roach on it. But the burger is like the best in the world.
Yeah.
How good does that burger have to be to where you would still come back and do that
And do the other stuff. See,
Because I would say, I need my money back. This place needs to be shut down.
I don't know if that's the proper metaphor though.
No,
because,
it's an exact one-to-one comparison.
So like, because I'm sure you've heard of like these kinds of guys who talk about hole-in-the-wall Mexican food places are the best, or
Sure.
or like
I've made that argument.
yeah, or like all these really independent, really low grade, kind of not big places are the best places to eat because they make the best
Well,
food.
it's also because there's a special kind of authentic experience that comes from going.
So
to those
that's
places.
the part though.
But those are generally clean.
No,
So-
no. That's not what. But that's why I'm saying it's a bad metaphor. Is I'm saying that when you go into those
In
places,
this world, in my metaphor, it's a normal restaurant. Okay, it's a normal restaurant. Okay, you're going into a totally normal restaurant, and that's what they serve you.
Can I make
Okay.
a metaphor?
Yes.
yes.
Go for
What's
it.
your metaphor?
It can include pizza because that comes later.
Okay. So so it's like okay, yeah, so it's like this. So you're going to the doctor and you're getting a checkup and they discover that you have a disease, and then they're like, we're gonna have to operate on you to cut this tumor out or something. And then they go in and they're doing a really good job, and they get the tumor and they see that you have some other stuff too, but instead of like getting it, they're like, and they just leave it. They leave the tumor in you. They don't do their full job.
That's a good metaphor. I can get behind it.
You guys are basing a metaphor of.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know how that
It's like a guy makes a really, really good table, but only puts 3 legs on it.
Yes, exactly. That's
And you're
that's
like-
what upgrade is like.
You're like, this is a great table, but it doesn't stand. You're like, it doesn't need to stand. Just turn your brain off.
Turn your brain off and try to play checkers on that table.
Yeah, it's like the doctor is trying to convince you that it's placebo, but you actually have cancer.
And then the placebo of you believing it's placebo cures you of the cancer.
5th and Main.
Whoa!
5th and Main.
Hey,
Hey,
dude,
spoilers.
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 I'm reminded of another metaphor.
Oh,
This one's
good.
really bad.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
It's bad because of how it's used. Growing up as a Mormon youth, and I've heard this in other like Christian groups where they talk about like seeing like rated R movies when you're a kid, and they say, well, oh, it only has a little bit of violence, or oh, it only has a little bit of sex and nudity in it, and they say, well, what if I told you that I had this delicious chocolate brownie? And it was like the most delicious chocolate brownie ever. but it just has a little tiny bit of dog poo in it. Just a tiny bit. And they use that to try to prevent kids from seeing rated R movies, which I'm not supporting that at all. But I feel the analogy has more legs here in this conversation. It's the poop in the brownie. Should I turn off my brain and excuse the poo in the brownie? Yeah. Can you turn off your brain, D?
You're peeking.
I cannot.
I'm gonna try and rein this in a bit and get to an analogy that's a little bit more apparent about Quiet Place.
Wait.
You brought up.
Is it an analogy or is it a metaphor?
It's actually a comparison.
Or is it a simile?
Can you give this to us in pentameter?
Yeah. Prose. Haiku, actually.
Haiku. Okay.
All right, sorry. You were trying to bring
A Quiet Place. Plot holes are... Wait, that's not how... It's syllables, right?
Yeah.
I'm using words.
5, 7. Just talk. Go ahead.
A Quiet Place is has a bunch of plot holes, and I'm not gonna go ahead and say that's
it.
There we go. That's my haiku.
D, you're such a jerk. Let the man talk.
Sorry, I thought that was hilarious.
So
continue.
So we did have a whole episode about how do plot holes matter, and we kind of came to the conclusion that they didn't as much in A Quiet Place, and I felt like they don't as much because I feel like it was a lot of microscopic plot holes and tiny plot holes, and then it was obviously the core of the idea of the whole film was have these characters, they can't talk to each other, and they have a ever-present threat that could happen at any moment, and living in that intense situation. That was the idea of the movie. That's what they were trying to do, and they executed that very, very, very well. And I don't think that necessarily excuses all of the plot holes or anything. That's why it's not a perfect movie, but I still think it's a good movie. Where I think people go wrong with the phrase "just turn your brain off." Well, yeah. So that's the thing. You can have your brain on in A Quiet Place and see those plot holes and be like, "Oh," but it's not detracting completely from the movie. You can still be like conscious and thinking and enjoy the movie, whereas like a movie like say Age of Ultron,
oh god,
where it's like, oh, you guys are being too hard, just turn your brain off. If you have to not think about a movie at all in order to get any enjoyment out of it,
yeah,
that's a problem.
Yeah, well,
I think
again, I totally agree. I hate that phrase. I think it's dumb. But it does come down to subjective view. Because, like, YMS is one guy who, YouTuber, Adam is his name. Adam really...
Your movie sucks.
Yeah, Adam really hates...
YMS means.
Adam really hates plot holes in the movies. So it's because, I'm guessing, because he can't concentrate on the plot without acknowledging these things. And so when you have something like, oh no, it's too cold, or it's not cold enough, there wouldn't be breath coming out of them, or right there, or something like that. His footprints would have been seen, something like that. Like, that takes him out of the movie. For me, that doesn't take me out of the movie. Yeah. Like, plot holes have to be pretty big to take me out. And so people who are not filmmakers, like Jake, or like my brother maybe, or my mom, they can see these big giant plot holes and not really care about them as much because they don't see them the same way that we do, right? For us, they're big giant gaps. For them, it's just like, yeah, maybe it's not that much.
Yeah,
it's just subjective.
Yeah, I agree. Subjective. Yeah, it is subjective.
Dude, it's a good meal if you just turn off your tongue. Just turn off your tongue and
don't taste it.
Just don't taste it.
Yeah. Don't think about how it tastes. Just eat it, and it's great.
Just eat it.
It's a good time.
You're hungry.
Just eat it.
You gotta eat to live.
Just turn it off.
Turn off your taste.
I would like to circle back to one of my favorite topics of Rotten Tomatoes, because this is the type of movie that highlights what is so wrong about Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Because since everyone's expectation is collectively down here for a movie like this, and the movie ended up being a little bit higher than that. Everyone walked out saying, yes, on my pass-fail score, I give it a pass. This was a good time at the movies. 80-something% of people said that, and therefore, on Rotten Tomatoes, it's now ranked up there, well, higher than any other movie out right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is nuts.
Which is, yeah. And so if you look at Rotten Tomatoes and you say, hey, this movie got a 90, we should go see it. No.
It doesn't.
Think about what the movie is first.
That's what I mean, is that
if you're going to agree with that
score just has no
right
meaning whatsoever.
Right. So this movie was...
Upgrade has a higher score than Deadpool 2.
See,
and Deadpool 2 had its problems, sure, but it was a phenomenally way better written movie.
Oh, yeah.
Way
like,
better
much better
acted
executed,
movie.
yeah.
Better executed movie all around. It has a higher... It's funny, it has a higher score than Infinity War. Yeah, it's the highest ranked movie out right now.
It's funny, when it comes down to it, I like Upgrade better than both those movies.
Man, maybe Rotten Tomatoes is perfect for you. It's right in your wheelhouse, man. Yeah.
But I wouldn't give Upgrade.
Is it ranked higher than Mother?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mother has like 70.
Is it ranked higher than Thoroughbreds?
No.
Blade Runner?
No. It's actually on par with Blade Runner.
See, it's a equal movie to Blade Runner, and they take place like in around the same time in the future. So we think this is right on par with Blade Runner.
I'm gonna have to rethink my view on. I don't know.
All right, so
That's bad.
When does Venom come out?
Like next month, July.
Yeah, pretty soon.
Oh man, that's crazy. I'm glad this movie came out before
Me too.
Venom.
Can you imagine, like, Venom just comes out and this movie comes out,
Yeah.
and people are like, "What? Schlock?
Yeah,
like, this was just copy paste of Venom."
A rip-off.
Yes, it was definitely good that this came out first.
So that's gonna be fun to see.
I bet Venom's gonna be really bad.
Yeah.
I have no hope.
It's shocking to me that Tom Hardy is the lead actor in this. Like, why? That just feels like he's disrespecting himself by being in that movie.
He could. I don't know why. He should get in the MCU or something. Actually, no. He shouldn't be in superhero movies.
No, he's
should
a
stick with
dramatic
Mad Max
actor.
And he should be in like Blade Runner.
Don't be funny, man.
I want to see a Tom
I
Hardy
actually don't
Batman.
like when he's
Ooh.
funny.
Tom Hardy as Batman.
Yeah.
That would
He'd be a good
interesting.
Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. He would be a good Batman.
Or Josh Brolin. Let's do a Josh Brolin Batman.
That'd be kind of cool, actually.
That would be interesting.
That would be cool.
I can't get enough of Josh Brolin. That guy's awesome.
How is it that that Batman? Yeah, that's probably what it is because he had no superpowers. I was going to say, how is it that the superhero with the least abilities, I guess, has the best cinematic history? And I think it's probably because he has no abilities, because he's the most human out of all of them. And so like Nolan concentrated on the humanity part.
Yeah, it's hard to bring out the humanity in Superman.
Right.
It's
Or in Thor.
Borderline impossible.
Yeah. And I think that's why Superman has always been uninteresting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have a theory that Superman appeals to a certain type of person. Like I had a meeting downtown with a client a year ago, and he just seemed like your very stereotypical, upper middle class conservative Christian man. And on his wall of his office, he had two big posters. One was of Ronald Reagan, and the other one was of Superman. And I was like, "Yeah, you're a Superman guy."
That's
I could
hilarious.
just totally tell you
Ronald
are.
Reagan,
You're a Superman guy.
Like, I could totally see anyone who's into Superman would probably be in Ronald Reagan.
You're right.
The classic Superman, not
He's-
the DC.
Well, he's like the
universe.
embodiment of the American myth of what
Right.
America is supposed to be.
Right.
Is what Superman is.
Yeah, super
right?
moral. That's what it is, right?
Yeah. And I don't think fewer and fewer people are identifying with that idea.
Yeah.
Probably since like the 60s.
Yeah.
So anyway, Superman is what we're talking about now.
Instead of Upgrade. It started with Venom, that's why.
Yeah. But I was going to say that it's going to be fun to call back to this movie after seeing Venom. You can compare the two.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they are extremely similar. Also, the $6 billion Man is
that's
coming out
yeah.
On Amazon Prime, and which is a reboot of the $6 Million Man. Inflation. But it's a very similar concept. I don't think he has an internal monologue. He's just an upgraded human.
It's so weird to a completely different conversation, but it's so weird to me that Amazon keeps rebooting these things that are much older.
I feel like Amazon is wealthy and lazy.
Well, and maybe they're speaking to their audiences, I think.
I don't know if they know who their audience is. They're all over the place. Like they have lots of money, so they can do about whatever they want. But they just don't seem like focused. They're just like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. Oh, that's available. We'll buy it. We'll buy that.
Yeah. They're doing Lord of the Rings, too.
They're doing Lord of the Rings. Full reboot on Lord of the Rings. They just picked up The Expanse from Sci-Fi.
Right.
Sci-Fi didn't renew it for a 5th or 4th season.
What was we just saw a movie that was by Amazon Studios.
Yes, we did.
It was the You Were Never Really Here one.
Yeah.
With
You Were Never Really Here.
There you go. Wow.
They do extreme dramas like that, and they did Manchester by the Sea, and then they do like random stuff also.
That is quite random.
Yeah, they're all over
Netflix.
So
have we come to a conclusion? Should we give our pizza ratings?
Get into the pizza.
Let's do it.
It's time for your favorite part of the program. What kind of pizza was this movie, Taylor?
The Upgrade was like a. You know what? It was just a. You know what? It was a DiGiorno pizza cooked in the oven, but it was cooked like 30 minutes before you got home. So when you get home, it's still kind of fresh, but it's cold, but it's like good. It's still good, but it's not like it's just a pizza, and nothing so special about it, but it was enjoyable.
There you go.
Very basic.
Yeah.
All right.
I can compare it to also a DiGiorno. But it was the one that had been sitting in the freezer for a while, so all the ingredients were kind of not really on too well. And so you picked it up from the store, brought it home, and you found out all the ingredients slid to one side. So when you baked it, you had some like really good parts, but the rest of it was.
Gotcha. It wasn't.
I was going to take a similar analogy. Mine's far less likely. What I was thinking was like, what if like someone ordered 2 pizzas, right? Like a super good, local brick oven pizzeria, and some like nasty Domino's pizza, right? And then you were late to the party, right? And when you get to the party, you open the box and it's 10 slices of the cheap pizza with 1 slice of the good pizza still in there. Collectively, that pizza is Upgrade.
There you go. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Accurate.
You heard it here on the Talkies. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment. We really like hearing back from you guys, especially when you hate what we have to say about the movies.
Absolutely.
And until next time, I'm Kenny.
I'm D.
I'm Taylor.
And we'll see you at the Talkies.